We're here with Barry Murphy. Barry won Alice Springs with his Blue Bar Hen SA08 28070. How did you become involved in pigeon racing, Barry?
Oh, as a kid growing up, I always had pigeons in my backyard, and I really got to love them, and they were pretty well-bred pigeons. As I used to get them off the boys in Broken Hill. I raced for 2 years up in Broken Hill, and very limited success, but when I come down to Adelaide, I thought it'd be nice to take on the big boys, and I got friendly with Kenny Moyle, who bred these couple of parents of the Alice Springs pigeon for me, and we just went on from there, and I've got so many of them now, these Kenny Moyle bred pigeons here. I hope we can have a lot more success with them, and that's how it all started. I just love pigeons, and to this day, and I'm just going to continue to race them and enjoy them.
What's the breeding of your Alice bird, Barry?
The breeding is, well, I just call them the Moyle hen and the Moyle cock off of Ken and Bing Moyle. They're very nice pigeons, easy to handle. They are very quiet, but that's all I know. I just call them the Moyle cock or the Moyle hen. You know, so anyone asks me what was the breeding of the Alice Springs hen, I just say, well, they're off Ken and Bing Moyles, and I think Ken and Bing Moyle are known in Adelaide as very good pigeon flyers of distance pigeons, and I just go from there with them. So the cockbird, he is known as the Miranda cock. He's been everywhere for the Moyles, and he is still continuing to sire lots of pigeons, associations and club pigeons.
Describe your feelings on winning Alice Springs, Barry.
I still haven't come down off of cloud nine. This was just amazing sitting here in the yard, and I just turned me back for 1 minute, and I looked around, and she was on the landing board, and I nearly fell over. It was just the biggest thrill that I've ever had in pigeon racing, and probably all of my sporting career. But you know, I didn't know we'd won the race till we got to the club at night, and to see her come home was just absolutely magnificent. I sent 4 that time, and I got 2, you know, so I was pretty happy with that. And I like to thank all the well-wishers and all the boys that rang me and wished me all the best for the Alice Springs, winning the Alice Springs race. I don't know how long the Alice Springs words took to get out of my head, but it still hasn't. I still just wake up every morning now, and just when I go down the back, I say, this is incredible how I won it, you know, and people out there that's been trying for 20 or 30 years to win the race and never won it, you know, and I'm here, and you know, won it at just after my 6th year of pigeon flying.
What was the preparation of your Alice Springs bird, Barry?
Well, the preparation in 2009, I sent her out on the northeast line, which she was very, very good on. She raced at Yunta and the South Australian Derby at Little Topar, and I sent her back to the Little Topar Open, which she was very good. She was placed 15th in the Federation in the South Australian Derby. But in 2010, apart from all the tosses, we start them off as normal on the tossing all the way to the north. I sent it to Carrington, that bad Carrington smash, and she was home at Street 29, sorry, and then we sent it to the Twins, and then I put her straight into Alice Springs. So, and she was fit and ready to go. I thought she was, you know, all the toss work was magnificent, and yeah, she just done the job for us, and which we were very proud of her.
Barry, which fanciers do you admire, and why do you admire them?
never met Greg Hamilton, but I read a lot about Greg and on the computer and how he goes with his pigeons. He's very good flyer. His pigeons are always around the mark. He's been successful, and hopefully I can be as successful as Greg, but I don't think it'll happen. But one guy that I really got a lot of time for is a guy called Mark Brueggemann. Mark Brueggemann flies a magnificent pigeon, who's been very good to me as well in my pigeon career. He's always a tough man to beat. His pigeons are always about the place, but I have occasionally been able to knock him over, which is a feather in my cap. The Moyles pigeons are very good. There's hell of a lot of good flies in Adelaide, and on the day everyone is tough to beat. But to me, Greg Hamilton is right up with the top echelon. I never raced against or that knew the prize. I knew them in Broken Hill, but didn't race against them. But apparently their record is second to none, nearly as great as the old Bart Cummins.
What type of feeding and training do you give your birds, Barry, prior to the start of the racing season?
Well, with the feed, I'm 20% peas and 20% wheat, 10% corn, 20% milo, and 3% of sap. But that comes in the racing season. Just around the loft when they're breaking in that stage, and when I'm revving them up to get ready for tosses, we just feed them the half and half, and in the next fortnight or so we'll be feeding them the rest of the stuff with added vitamins and a bit of small feed, and they're generally let out 7 o'clock in the morning, and at the moment they're ranging off for an hour and 10 minutes and doing quite well. We generally start them off as a short toss from our place out to the White Horse Inn in the car park out there, and then we get out to the Gun Club, then we go to Dublin, and then we're on the units. We use the units all the time for our tossing after we get them tossed out there, and they're all coming home on their own without all the other birds in the unit. So once we get out to Dublin, they go to Wakefield and Snowtown. All depends on how much work they need, but we sort of give them the race birds the race on a Saturday, and whatever's left in the loft, if there's no injured ones, they all go on the unit for a toss to either Snowtown or Wakefield, and we just go on from there to the races.
What's some of the negative aspects in the sport, Barry?
Some of the negative things, I've been going out to meetings since I've been involved with pigeons, and this is the 7th year coming up, and it just amazes me how people just don't want to try things. Every time something gets put forward, there's always the same people out there, it seems to me, that just quickly jump on the meeting and try and railroad it. They're just negative, they just don't want to try anything. Like Gavin Harris went out there, we're going to try and buy a new unit. What happens? That gets railroaded, we didn't get a new unit, now we're screaming out for one. Gavin wanted to do a long distance club. What happens? No, got railroaded. People just don't want to try anything. It's very disappointing, and that's why I think that we're losing a lot of members and people just giving the game away, because people are just not willing to try anything. They just want to live back in the 1900s. I think you've got to get on with it, and do what's best for our pigeons. Just try things, for God's sake, and see how we go. Try it for 12 months or 2 years. If it's no good, we'll just knock it on the head. But give it some thought and just try it. These people put a lot of work into getting these things up and running. So to my way of thinking, we've got to just get on with it and do what's best for the sport and the pigeons.
Do you think the imported birds can do well in the long races, Barry?
Well, I know a few guys that's got the imported stuff, and they haven't had a great deal of success with them from like the long distance races. But to my way of thinking, I just sort of the Australian pigeons have been around for a long time, and they've done really well in all distances. So myself, I haven't got any imported pigeons here. And I just sort of just look forward to having breeding off the long distance stuff that I've got here, and not worry about the imported stuff. But I really know people go in for them, but I don't think they're setting the world on fire as yet.
What do you look for when your birds lose form?
Well, when they lose form, I think it's got a lot to do with the inside of the pigeon. They have to be unwell, I think, not up to the mark. But I'm a great believer in worming pigeons. If I've had a bad race and they're not working well around the loft, I worm them, and I use Moxidectin Plus, and I find that lifts the birds as well as making them well again and working around the loft. But I do like to see them flying, for the hour and a quarter. And if they want to go longer than that, I don't call them in. I just let them go. They'll come down when they're ready. But that's the way I do it. If they're not well, or they're not training, or coming late from tosses, I give them worm. Having greyhounds for 30 odd years, we used to worm them quite regular, and they'd always perform if they're clean inside.
How many pair of stock birds do you keep?
Well, this year I run with 22, but it is a lot of work. But I'll go through them after this season, and what isn't performed, or wasn't anywhere up to standard, I'll push them aside. I reckon the ideal, is no more than 15, because it does end up being a lot of work. So this year we used 22 pair, and next year I'm going to drop it back a lot, and just go from there.
Do you think there's enough help for new flyers, Barry?
Well, when I first started, I started with Glenelg, as I said. Every one of those boys down there were magnificent, and I only had to ask and they would tell me, advise me, and if I brought the pigeons to the club on race nights and they'd had too much in their crop, they'd tell me about what to do and what not to do. So I can only speak for myself, but if a new member come into our club now that I'm flying with Hyde Park, I would, if I felt his birds and I think that they're not up to scratch, they're not hard enough, or they're not, if they're too fat, I'd tell them, which I think that's what the boys down at Glenelg told me. And I learned a hell of a lot from Mark Brueggemann and his merry band of men down there.
What do you look for when you pair your pigeons up?
Well, I sort of like to breed off of winners, or pigeons that have flown well and been up there in the Association. This year I've bred off a lot. I had quite a few Association placings. I sort of look at them and I breed off their youngsters, and I also like to keep like the Alice Springs pigeons together with that breeding in them all the way through. So I like to breed off of winners, or Association placings, which I think is the top echelon of the pigeon racing in South Australia, and I think that's the way to go, because there's and they've got to be the twins, or when you're getting out into the distances, it's no good like living on a Carrington or a Hawker or anything like that. You've got to to breed better pigeons, you have to go off the long distance stuff that I reckon that's the way to go.
Yes. You medicate through the race season?
I don't use the Doxy T or the heavy stuff, but I keep them. I like to keep them vitamins, and I'm a great believer in vitamin B. And I use a lot of garlic oil and polyseed oil over when the racing starts over their food. They also get the pink mineral mix and lots of shell grit. But I am a great believer in garlic cloves with a garlic press done in 10 litres of water of 1 clove, and that's given to the pigeons every day during the racing season, and the birds really love it. So but that's all. It's pretty basic stuff. I don't when I'm not happy with them or not feeling they're not well, I just wean them out, and I find that works really well.
Will you aim to improve your results if possible, Barry?
Oh yeah, I set myself goals. Last year I set myself to get in the top 30 of the SOCH points, and we did that by finishing 26th. This year I would like to, it's a big statement, I'd like to get in the top 20, but and I sort of set myself to improve my pigeons and myself at about 10% a year, which I think I've done that over the last 7 years since I've been racing. I've been pretty successful with the points and the way the pigeons have flown for me. But I just, they get looked after, magnificent, and if you look after them magnificent, they'll look after you, and that's exactly what's happening to me at the moment.
Is there anyone you would like to thank in the sport, Barry?
Oh yeah, I would really like to thank Ken and Big Moyle. They've been very big supporters of mine, and I've got pigeons off them, and I've got a lot of time for them. Another person that's had a big influence on my career was Mark Brueggemann, and all the boys from Glenelg, as I said before. But Ken and Big Moyle, and a special mention for the Stazanowski brothers, who have loaned me pigeons and given me pigeons, which I think I've got numerous placings, club winners and SOCH placings off of their pigeons, and I think they're about equal with, if not, yeah, around about equal with the Moyle pigeons. So I'm very, very happy with what I've got here.